What's up, world? What's up, Zion? Space Easy coming at you again once more in this fine day here we're having. Right. So, as usual, I do have a couple slides that I want to share with you. Right, and of course, I'm gonna issue a disclaimer for all the material that is gonna be shared here in this here video. For the purpose of criticism, commentary, and of course education in general. Right, so let's get to the slides. Right, so the topic of the week, so to speak. Right, so this is from Africa Command, the US Africa Command. Right, so they say that they are working in coordination with the Nigerian authorities, right, to conduct these strikes, right, on December 25th in Sokoto, right, and that is the approximate location of said attack, right. And of course, some people supported the whole thing, right. From most what I've seen online, a big group, right, I would say like 70% of them approve, so to speak, right, from what I have seen personally, right. And of course there are, right, 30% that does not agree to this whole deal, right. So of course the foreign minister came out and confirmed, right, that this is just the beginning, right, and this is what the president of the US said about the whole deal, right. You can go through it yourself, right. And of course a leopard spotted rock on Mars proves that life exists outside of Earth. It's a clear sign, right. Yeah, a lot has come out since then that would reshape the whole narrative, right. So I don't think even themselves are keen to addressing this whole subject, right, because of the, like I said, the things that have come to light since their official report pertaining to how these events unfolded. Right, this is Zelensky. Now apparently Afghanistan and Tajikistan are having a skirmish, if you can even call it that. Yeah, this is that what do they call it, having monopoly on information, right, and you feel it. It's unfortunate, but you feel it. So again, as usual, all roads are leading to America. Zelensky is gonna go over there. I don't know what they're gonna talk about. So the Kissinger report, on top of Nigeria as an example I used the last time, well, these are the other countries right? And these are the identified 13 specific countries as having high population growth rates that could potentially threaten US security interests, right? And as far as I'm concerned, they haven't come out and said that they are not anymore pursuing this whole situation, right? But again, that's the question. Hmm? Why does your prosperity threaten their very existence, right? Why is you having children a security problem for them? And most importantly, we gotta ask ourselves, how are they going to solve this, right? Yeah, I saw one of our movies. It involves a hand, a casted hand, right, cut from the elbow. And when you make a handshake with this hand, you get access to the spirit world, right? And as you know, a handshake, it is a contract. It used to be a contract, right? Right now it's just a joke, right? Dead fishes and all. Right? But it originally used to mean contract, right? And every movie she has played, right, of course, just from her name, you can know that she's playing the prince, right? And these demons keep hunting her, and they caught her at the end of the movie. I don't want to ruin it for you, but you can go look up her catalog, and I don't even remember her name. Right, you can just write her name and handshake movie or something. It will bring something. So this happened, right, conveniently. Of course, this Palestinian assailant ran over, right? How did they figure it was a Palestinian assailant? It doesn't matter, right, because of what followed, right? This is all a launching board, a launching platform for what they actually wanted to pursue, and I shall show you. Yeah, right, that wartime spirit has been, I don't know, invoked, as they say. Some people did not get the memo, unfortunately. All right. This is what France 24 is reporting, and you can look up the video yourself to see the interview. Right. Well, yeah, a lot of rain is coming next year. Let's just say that. All right. The high, or rather cold temperatures in the US tells us, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of rain. A lot of rain is coming. Sheer impunity. Just after the stabbing, this is what happened. So I watched this whole video and I was just confused as to what they were shooting at. Right? after the billions and billions of arm cells you did this to yourself. Well, this technology here, okay, we're gonna circle back to it. Before the strikes, this happened, and then boom, Trump was all over the place, and this was literally just silence. I didn't hear no a lot of people talking about it. Just and now we have this whole situation, right? A trend. Yeah, we have a lot to do. So, well, let me tell you this, right? All I can say is this. All of these maneuvers have been done before. They are not new efforts whatsoever. And all of those prior to this one ended in failure and actually making the situation much worse. And the 4 AES, yeah. So, chuma cha nguzi na watu wanasema isipe ushirikiano. It's funny. Okay, I'll be talking nonsense later. Okay. So, this is Yuda holding high position in the Catholic Church of Tanzania. This is from, of course, BBC Swahili. Captured from Tumaini TV. He says, many Tanzanians, right, I'm translating the words in black, right? Many Tanzanians are not champions of justice. They are not proponents of justice. Many Tanzanians, due to ignorance or corruption or otherwise, they pretend to be proponents of peace. How did he conclude how they felt inside? For instance, me, I'm not with what you wanted to do. Am I being paid or am I ignorant? And how did you come to that conclusion? They call them currency risks. Kenya and Ethiopia are the targets of this warning. And it is, as they say here, a proactive approach to debt management. While these transactions may lower costs, they can also introduce currency risks depending on structure, as spokesperson at the Washington, D.C. lender said. The IMF encourages countries to consider such operation within comprehensive medium-term debt and reverse management strategies to ensure an appropriate balance between costs and risk. Kenya conversion of Chinese railway loans into yuan slashed their annual costs by $215 million. Okay, so they are telling them risks and cost saving. Ethiopia is in talk to change at least some of its 5.2 billion, right, it owes Beijing in yuan. The Horn of Africa nation has defaulted on 1.5 billion of euro bonds, as in talks with the lenders to restructure its debt under the Group of 20 Common Framework. Right, people are struggling, governments are struggling, right, and the wolves are not asleep. Let's just say that. Again, data manchas. Just a collage, right? A collage of what has come out so far, right? And this one being the latest. This is what this user said. This is what unfolded over the past few days or two or so, right? This is also what happened, right? You got weapons for days. They want to cut it out. And what are we going to build with? Whatever it is, it's going to be more damaging than the former. You want to bet? So also this happened, right? The first state. Again, this is, as for most people, has been seen as a geostrategic move, right, against Yemen, right, and all of the strife that is within parts of Yemen right now, as we have seen. I know these people are behind it, right? They think 700 million will clean this up. Okay, now the Chinese have been thrown into the mix between the Africans and the Tajikistans. Just like in Cambodia, patience until everything is clear.
Why is Christmas Day on December the 25th?
It's a pagan festival that's been appropriated by Christianity.
There is a great deal of truth in that. But also, there was the Roman god. There was Mithras. There are amazing things claimed about Mithras, and I'll read you some of them. He was a savior, Mithras. sent to earth to live as a mortal, through whom it was possible for sinners to be reborn into immortal life. He died for our sins, but came back to life the following Sunday. He was born of a virgin on December the 25th in a manger or perhaps a cave, attended by shepherds, and became known as the light of the world. He had 12 disciples with whom he shared a last meal before dying. His devotees symbolically consumed the flesh and blood of him. Because Mithras was the sun god, he was worshipped on Sundays.
Is he a tribute band?
He's often depicted with a halo around his head. And Mithraists gave each other gifts on December the 25th.
And you're not kind of writing off the chance that this was just a massive coincidence.
Why?
This is what happens when you take out, so to speak, the melanated man out of everything and put yourself in there. Sheer confusion. So back to the 5G, right? Beam forming, I think I've talked about this, right? A technique that directs wireless signals to a specific device rather than broadcasting everywhere, right? So beam forming or targeting, right? Joint communications and sensing, right? Using same radio signals for two jobs at once: communication and environmental sensing, right? Your field interacting with the radio frequencies can, in a sense, give them a force or a presence, right? So you can read for yourself, right? Okay, again, that feature where they direct a beam of energy to know what's happening with you, right? Well, they are saying that 5G is just or rather was just the stepping stone to something even bigger, right? So we have a system that can target, right, track what is left. It is to attack, right? And believe it or not, every person has a specific frequency, right? I'm gonna just give you that, right? And just like that, you have what we know as directed energy weaponry, right? Using radio frequencies that can precisely target, right? Because there's the layer, they can just detect your presence, but they can also detect specific other magnetic fields within the big magnetic field we call the body. The brain has a specific magnetic frequency, part of the whole, right? Your heart is the same thing, beating at a certain frequency, part of the whole, and they're all resonating with each other, right? They're all in harmony. So a disruption would be to introduce a different frequency to any of these components, and boom, you have system collapsing, or a person just dies just like that. These things exist, I know they do personally. Okay, so I think this is a reality up to today, right? black people trying to conform, right? Trying to conform to a ever hostile environment. And the only safety, or rather option, that he or she has is to assimilate, form these masks, right, of whiteness, right, to be accepted in this white world, because believe it or not, it is a white man's world. And I don't know why they are complaining. I don't get it. Right? It has been the white man's world for the last, I don't know, let's just say Esau has been busy. Okay, really busy. Okay, for at least 500 years. Right? We can go farther back than that, but then they will be talking about civil wars, you know. But the black man understood. Hmm? Hmm? And it's funny, countries like Algeria now are, or rather have become, again, it would even, you can switch here, right? What do they say Chinese have? What's the color of their skin? Yellow, right? Yellow skin, white marks. Hmm? The experience of a Chinese man in a white world, and literally change nothing about the book. and I'm sure it will be accurate. Right? But again, people forget. Right? And this is a fact. Why? Because colonialization itself was a violent phenomenon. It wasn't kind. Okay? It wasn't pleasant. It wasn't fair. So uprooting it won't be as what most people expect it to be. Let's just be honest now. Hmm? This my guy Frank here went as far as to say violence had therapeutic value for the colonized. Fighting back didn't just win political freedom, it restored psychological humanity. Violence is a cleansing force that frees the native from his inferior complex and restores his self-respect. The oppressed needs to fight, not for revenge, but for rebirth. Quite sharp words. Huh? Colonization, this is what they felt. Right? After he went around and saw what is happening, right? He had proper records of what was happening in Algeria, for instance, right? The state on which the Algerians found themselves in, right? And he was shook, let's just say that. Hmm? This is the war, right? Putin and his army, they are not just issuing blows, they are also receiving blows. But again, in order to make Ukraine a victim, you have to frame it in a way that they seem as a lamb, innocent. Hmm? Alright? And that was the only two options. Right? Make peace through negotiations, or we are gonna achieve it through military might. Your option. Remember what Zelensky said in the previous slide? It would have severe consequences. So the Iranian president says this: U.S., Israel, Europe waging full-fledged war on our country. Right? If Israel and the U.S. were to attack Iran again, they would face more indecisive response. Okay, let it just be said. Hope you come up with another warrior. Of course, Netanyahu is also on his way over there, just like Zelensky. Right? This is great. Yeah, they have given their power to the beast. It is what it is. It's gonna end how it's gonna end. But this is the reality.
Anybody really listen to the
It's another video.
words of the Red Hot Chili Peppers song Californication, considering that it was written almost 25 years ago? Psychic spies from China trying to steal your mind's elation. And little girls from Sweden dream of silver screen quotation. It's the edge of the world in all of Western civilization. The sun may rise in the east, at least it's settled in a final location. Hey, up Sergeant Mary, well, to break the spell of aging. Celebrity skin is this your gender, is that why you're waging? Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. In Cobain, can you hear the spears sing songs off station to station? And Alderon's not far away, it's Californication. Born and raised by laws that raise control of population. Everybody's been there and I don't need no vacation. Anybody really listen to the
People used to write. These are back at it. And that's not the first time. And all of that, their nonsense is spilling all over the world, right? While their homes are nice and cozy, right? Freaking crazy, man. But anyway, we shall see what comes out of the US pertaining to the two fronts, right? The one in the Middle East, actually all fronts, right? Just like what he said about the Congo, right? He said the Congolese president called me and say, come, take our minerals, right? We're gonna live to see every supposed peace plan Trump has made fall apart. Why is he doing this? Well, it's just quite simple psychology. Why would a person put up his name everywhere A person that is in fear of being forgotten. Right? That's one reason, possible reason. The other reason is asserting fear that the power is being lost, and it's a sign to, I don't know, assert your dominance, right? It's just like a father coming home to their children and telling them, you know, I'm your father. All of a sudden, I mean, right? It's a sick game, and I'm not in a rush or having worries. Babylon will be made naked. Every associate of Babylon will be made naked. And that is the full truth right there. Nothing less, nothing more. Okay? So anyway, I'm gonna put a pin on it right there. Prince Easy, signing out. Bye.